one keeps messing your crown. Joy comes in the morning. It's an happiness is calling.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to YouTube.
It's been a crazy 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Firstly, we'll start by saying we apologize, guys. We haven't been posting.
Thank you for waiting for us.
Thank you for waiting for us.
Thank you for being patient with us. But
You
we're
know?
back.
We're back, man. I wanna know. Is it episode what? 20?
19.
Is it 19?
Yeah. One more
It
episode.
actually feels like we are at 20.
Yeah.
20 something.
We've been doing this.
Yeah, man. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Cya M.
Superhero Conquer Dlwati.
Tata. And this is Generation Great Podcast. It's a place for
Mediocre intelligent conversations. Yeah.
So today we have a jam-packed, exciting episode that also touches on Black success and Black excellence, all things Black, because you know we are more about Black empowerment and all things that are Generation Great. Before we get to our topic, man, we need to do our
weekly meditations
and mantras and get in touch with our inner spirit.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Please do.
It's been a long week. I think for me, what I've been pondering on this week is a lot of the times as people we get stuck in the planning phase. And I think I keep reiterating that aspect that being in the planning phase kills a lot of dreams because you are constantly planning how you are going to execute and how you're going to do stuff. Yeah, which eventually stresses you out, and you end up not doing it as opposed to just doing it. You know? Nike. I feel like a lot of the times we just plan so much and we get so overwhelmed with the planning that we end up not actually executing and doing stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So just do it, man. Just do it. Nothing beats actually having the courage to just wake up and be like, today I actually wanted to go to the gym.
Nothing beats action.
I did. So I was just like, I'm actually just gonna wake up. Oh, the weather is bad. Oh, okay. So what? You know?
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I think a lot of the times we need to just do it. It seems so hard when you're actually thinking about it, but once you actually do it, you realize in the process, like, actually this isn't so bad. You know? So yeah, that is my mantra, my meditation.
That's very good.
Thank you for the week.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how there is so much beauty in chaos.
Sure.
I think we always expect beauty to always be present, but just as seasons, let's look at seasons, right?
Sure.
Seasons are a metaphor for life also. You know, you have winter, which is basically a breakdown of everything, where everything is bad, everything is cold, you know, there's nothing that grow, there's no beauty, you know.
Sure.
And then after that comes your autumn, which we are in right now. Yeah. And you can see it's just dull.
It doesn't feel like autumn.
Yeah, it feels a bit
global warming, but anyway.
You know, so everything is, you know, it's a bit dull, it's a bit windy and whatnot, right? And after this we'll have spring, right? Spring will be where life starts happening and the beauty comes back and there's that blooming, and then spring, that's when everything blossoms, right? So even with everything in life, you have those 4 seasons. You have winter, which is ugly, cold, difficult, you know, and chaotic, right? And then eventually the more you pursue beauty, or you pursue anything that is progressive or good, or you have to pass this chaotic stage, and then eventually once you've passed it, you'll go into this blooming stage, and eventually everything will blossom. So we need chaos before there's beauty.
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
It doesn't make sense for us to just have beauty,
Beauty
always, and even
around.
beauty for it to blossom, it has to break down also.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, so we don't just come out to see nama viewers are 100,000.
Yeah.
Right now we're
which we are manifesting.
we're on our way there.
Yeah,
We
we're
don't
on
just
our
come out of the gates with like everything saying no.
There has to be this.
There has to be chaos, the mistakes, the regrets, the learning. So life is like seasons, and without chaos, there's no beauty. That's what I was thinking about.
I like that. Are you going to introduce our topic?
Yeah. So today we'll be talking about black excellence and what constitutes being a black successful individual. Yeah.
And also I think just to also explain, because we do tend to digress a bit.
Yeah, we do.
But I think also because of the depth of the topic, we also want to touch on like other aspects of it, which also involves what is black success for us, and and we've touched on it before, black wealth, and how
to build wealth as the black community. Now we are more individual based.
In terms of, can we define what black success is for us, and how do we go about making sure that it's a standard that we set for ourselves as black individuals.
And how do we know that as black people we've kind of reached that level to be able to say, as a black person, I'm finally successful. So what do you think?
Look, for me, like I said, I think I appreciate when things are defined, because my biggest thing is everything is in the terminology. Everything is in the description.
The devil is literally in the detail,
right?
Yeah.
So I think for me it's always describing or defining what black excellence is for us.
Did you say black excellence on purpose?
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yep. You know me.
That's very
watch
good.
out, so. But anyway, so I feel like so we need to define it for ourselves and have a template, because look, like everything else that we have, we are in a system that works against us, and I'll keep saying this until it sinks in, that we are in a system that defines what success is. It might not necessarily be what we envision success for us as black people to be, but it's a system that says, for you to be successful, this is where we need to go, this is the standard. So for me, I think we need to start by defining what success is for the black individual. And a lot of the times our parents, and I look at small businesses because I'm always inspired by Oma Oled Lababathengise Trading, and I'm inspired by Ipaza, I'm inspired by Abantaba who are in the agricultural space, people who are doing the small businesses that the system deems not good enough to be called entities or to be competitive in the market. And I'm inspired by those people because they've taken it upon themselves to say, we want to work for our money, and this is how we define success, and this feeds our families, and abapel moya. And if you see the pattern with small business owners, is like abapel moya. Ngeke umuntu umuntu athi nge off, hey, I'm tired and whatnot. And I think for me, that is black success, being relentlessly pursuing means and ways to make money and to also leave a legacy, man. And I think also we don't really touch on that a lot, because there's also skills that are passed down. In as much as sebenze kubalisa imali and telling you ukuthi namhlanje kuyabheda abantu abathenganga amanqina, or the reason why kungathenganga spinach is because of 1, 2, 3 and all these other things. And that is informal education, and that is legacy that is passed down on us, that we don't need to go to formal schooling for. And I think that is black excellence for me, that it needs to have a legacy impact. It needs to also be realistic and be in touch with the resources that we have that are available, but also it needs to empower us, obviously, financially. So that's what I feel black excellence and success is for me personally.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
I don't know
very
why we
good.
like to say for me personally, because when you say me personally,
Yeah, but I think when you say for yourself personally, I think people define success in different ways.
sure,
For everyone, success for them means a different thing, right?
correct.
Others, success to them just means being able to provide for their family. Others, it's just limited to resources,
Sure.
having material possessions, So I think we all have others, their success is finally being happy in whatever it is that they're doing. Others, it's competence. Uguti, I am so good at this. I've now,
Yeah.
So I think we, as a black person, personally, I think black excellence is when you've reached a level where you influence not just your family but others to become better. That's what I think black excellence is. I think when you have and not just in terms of just being nemalik pela. No, when a person sees you, do they want to now idolize you and say, not as an idol like a god?
Do they get inspired?
Do they get inspired? Are they motivated by
sure.
seeing Usia walking and shredding? Intwana sekasi for me personally is success for me would be Intwana sekasi saying, "Yo, Mfethu, can you take me under your wing? Can I learn? Can you teach me? Then I'll know."
Sure.
Because they're inspired by me.
Your
I think
moves and how you
how I do
and
things.
the fact that you are at rich and the fact
Exactly.
that for them they see the work that you
Yep.
put in and you are at rich to them and they can believe that, look, this is actually possible.
So black excellence basically for me is the impact that you can have on others and a positive impact.
Sure.
I think that's when we know, when we look up to people, like for example, we always talk about this guy because he's the epitome of black excellence for Sitembekwayo,
Sure.
So I think that is black excellence personified for me personally.
Sure.
Yeah.
You touched on something very important now when you spoke about black competence, because I feel like there are legs growing there when we get to competence, because a lot of the times, like I said, the system tells us that we're not successful because we are not mainstream or we don't follow what success is in terms of commercially. What makes it difficult for people to define define black excellence insofar as competence is concerned? Do you think we also have that low self-esteem in terms of maybe we feel we're not competent, or is the system telling us we're not competent as black people?
So it's a recognition thing, right?
Sure.
So I'm saying recognition because we don't think we are successful until we're recognized by other races, right? I think we only
that
define.
Is so important.
Yeah, we only think we are. We have achieved black excellence when we are recognized or surrounded by other races, right?
Sure.
So our success is now defined by who. Obviously, success, you are supposed to surround yourself with better people.
Sure.
But now our thing is we move away from the community that we're trying to inspire and motivate, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to motivate the black child like us, right?
Sure.
Or inspire them to be a better version. But mind you, what we'll do when we start coming into money, you'll have a white financial advisor,
Sure.
a white lawyer, you see, so now you're moving away from the community.
Sure.
And then we can say, I lay rich because and then you'll marry a white wife. That we have to talk about.
I like the fact that you actually mentioned that, because I was actually going in that direction.
Yeah.
That a lot of the times we then set the precedence for what is, because I don't want to say we get sold the idea that excellence
is outside of
us, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times we also fall into the trap of because I'm successful, and I'm sure, and and we all know that not everything that glitters is gold. And that's why you find a lot of the times people get in so much debt because they want to look like they're successful whereas in actual fact. And no one is saying don't splurge and don't spoil yourself. But I do feel like there's so much we've adopted habits, white people habits in terms of what their success is. And we are falling short because look, for us we didn't start with, we started on a minus, right? And we still need to catch up both financially, both in terms of legacy, both in terms
psychologically,
of information and psychologically and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a process for us to redeem ourselves and get to a point where we can say, look, now we are starting. It's the same as healing. You can't just say I'm healing. You need to, go deep and see what wounds you have. So it's a similar thing with success. And a lot of the times I feel like we don't really have direction in terms of what we want to do, or a collective direction in terms of what success should look like for the black individual, you see. And the corporate has given us this idea that you also succeed do one and you'll just go work and then totally your retirement and then live happily ever after. So there is no legacy element to it, and it translates very well in how the system treats us, because I've said this before. The funny thing, when you go to a bank, they don't give you business loan. They hardly give you business loan, but they'll give you personal loans because they want you to be in debt and not build, So where I'm going with this is, what is the standard for us, and have we started building, and have we started to determine what is it that we can build for us to leave a legacy where we can say this is actually black success? Okay.
So first, before we get into that, can we also talk about how our families also define success differently from us? Our families also have this thing of saying, because now I think we are moving away from you being successful, just like it just means you just have a degree only. You know, I think we should talk about how our families just limit that. What's high? Degree of successful only. Sure. You know, I think they don't recognize there are other forms and other ways of you maybe making money or being successful. Sure. You spoke about how you see a lot of black, like Mama Basekasi, who are starting a business. Sure. These people, they'll tell you, there's this lady on engine garage. Apparently she's generating like 80K. You know, I think that's a good example of someone who's, although not recognized by.
But it's a good business model.
It's a good business model.
Give it to her and say, look, that's great business acumen.
She has good business. 80K. To this day, I can't believe that.
Is it?
But you see, again, we're programmed not to believe certain things, and there are people who are making that type of money. Because we now associate black excellence with your degree, with working in offices, exactly, with corporate with this, with this.
That. Sure.
Exactly. And most of the time, what I've seen now is the most successful people are the people who are not doing the pretty stuff. It's the people who own the farms, right? Black people who own farms.
Sure.
They'll tell
it's plumbers. It's people
exactly
that
electricians.
Have skills.
Exactly. I've seen Wuti. I think those people are the ones who touch the most money. And it's not glamorous. And they'll tell you that my work is not glamorous. It's not. I'm not in some office and whatnot, But now we have been conditioned, Wuti. The only things that define success is you having a car, a house, like the basic things, right? Outside of impact, you don't have to have any impact other than those three things that you have.
Sure.
So we also have to talk about that, right? And then now I want to come back to your question. Have we started? I think we have, right? But we are not recognizing that, because again, in as much as I don't want to discredit, I don't want to say having a degree discredits people. We absolutely need education as the
Sure.
black community. And I'm so happy that we have so many graduates. That
Sure.
means we have education. The
Yeah.
next step is to implement the skills, and then we're
Exactly.
gone. I think it's good that we have educated black people. We
Sure.
have so many, because black people
Because
are
now
are graduating
we can
more
back-
than ever.
We can
Exactly.
back the skill that you have
Exactly.
and say, look, I do have the education.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
This is why I'm
100%.
good at what I do.
100%.
Yeah, sure.
Also, in as much as we're talking about, please, as I think we should avoid doing a degree that don't contribute like to a degree where you're like, is this going to really like, I think being a lawyer is good. Being a lawyer is good. Don't be
doctor
now.
is good.
Yeah, doctor. You see, there's certain degrees.
But let me tell you.
Major in arts and
Wait.
English. What the?
Wait, but that's the thing. Though. A lot of people don't
Bruv.
understand. Yes, I mean, art really does make money. A lot of people, I mean, there's art everywhere.
Okay.
And there's
Is art not something that naturally comes to you?
Yes, it does. But that's the thing. With
Do you need
you
a
as a
degree?
black individual,
Yeah.
sometimes your competence relies on you having a certificate. Or having something on merit,
okay.
Okay,
To be honest, I didn't have that
Eusebius-
foresight. Yeah, I get you.
Eusebius Kaiser said something very important the other day. He said, when you're a black person, you
Have to overcompensate.
you have to overcompensate and prove that you are competent. So by virtue of the skin of your color, I need to work really hard to prove to you that I'm really competent. But for a white person, it's the opposite. I need just to show up, and then I prove that I'm not competent. You get it? So I do get people who get these kind of degrees in education to say, this is what I like to do, but I need to study for it. Because also, it goes back to what I was saying about the system, that it really did fool us that for us to recognize you, you need to have a certain paper, right? And a lot of the times with other races, they generally just have to have exposure. And I've seen it with a lot of individuals, Jewish people, Indian people and whatnot. For them, it's just be exposed in that business. And that's why a lot of these Indian business owners, they would follow in their father's footstep. If maybe the father was selling carpet or whatnot, they would probably go in that industry because it's something they know, something they grew up learning or observing, right? So I think we can't really blame black people because there weren't resources at the time to allow us to just be and exist.
Okay.
If Umar be a teacher, you also need to go to school and be a teacher. So it wasn't just like I would wake up, extend, and then go and teach, and then
Okay, so my question is now, me, to be honest, I want to move away from the system because now it's been 30 years. What have we done? Because now we're seeing, the problem with me and black people is we're seeing, okay, the system won't do anything for us.
Sure.
What are we doing? Like, that's my biggest problem. Now, okay, fair about spices. Okay, what are we doing? How do we now galvanize? As how do we come together?
Can I tell you how we can do that?
Yeah.
I wanna make this joke so bad, and I'm just really trying to put it together because I wanted to say, imali khona, goda, education, emancipate. You know that video?
No, I haven't watched it. No, I haven't watched it.
So basically, I feel like a lot of the times when black businesses are doing exactly the same thing as white businesses, we don't support them. And because of what issue? Competence. We have gotten used to buying Zindo at Nike that when we see Ipatu, we don't see the same value. We're so used to buying Louis Vuitton that we don't see Amaklosa as a brand that equates, that has the same value as Louis Vuitton, right? And for us, it's an innate self confidence issue because we don't deem our black brothers as competent to compete at global level. And that's why you find people but say, but boys of Soweto is so expensive. Why? Because it's a local brand. But exactly, it should be expensive because they're trying to compete at a level where when you speak about the brand, you're just like, quality. So we associate our brands with
Cheap,
low quality.
cheap. Yeah.
That's why we always negotiate with people, with our black people. And that's one thing I've stopped doing. I don't negotiate services with black people because they are justified, And I think that's where we need to start as black people to say, yes, obviously it's a negotiating tool to negotiate down, right? But how you negotiate down might mean that the person would eventually undervalue those services.
That's true.
Give you that stuff. I mean, if your Conquer Fitness gear says you must pay 600 rand for a t-shirt, who am I to say, no, I'm not gonna? Obviously, I'll call you out on the quality and say, but okay, the quality of the clothes, obviously the material doesn't warrant that, right? But if there's a brand that comes that has the same quality and that uses the same material, and then when I get to know, but you are not Nike or you are not Louis Vuitton, so I'm not gonna pay this much for it. What am I saying to the black individual? I'm saying whatever you're trying to do is not as valuable as, again, the white counterparts or the white entities and stuff like that. So how we can get to that point is we need to get to a space where there's black competence. And I always say this, we need to get to a space where if someone is a black person and they are doing their job, they shouldn't feel the need to lower their prices to suit you. If you're not the target market, it's fine, move along, right? And I've seen this with black lawyers where black lawyers and black doctors must then say, okay, so if summer price is 8 so that you can come to us. I don't agree with that.
Don't.
Because you have went to school and did 1, 2, 3, and you've taken the time to acquire that skill and acquire that expertise. And then you figure good markets and people are just comparing you to white people and be like, but so we need to really emancipate our mind.
So I want to say to that, I think also, right, let's just say, for example, with Conquer Fitness gear, even when I'm not delivering on that level, the best thing that you can do for me is ungibizele side, yo mfethu, I really want to support your brand, but I'm not happy with 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
Don't now publicly call me out.
We're very quick to bash.
Bash.
That's why I'm
public.
saying
We
don't as
bash
black people are our own
worst enemies.
Worst enemy,
right?
Because if I get a black, if I'm dissatisfied with the product from a black person, I'll make a whole lot of noise as compared to a white product. And that's why I'm saying it's internalized. It's in us to say this is not good enough because it's done by a black person. Then the expectation is, I know what's is a quality service or quality products or goods, right? So that's how we stop. We really need to emancipate our mind. We really need to emancipate our mind because we see blackness as inferior to other races
in every way. In every way.
And that really
I think we should get
me.
into part 2, bro.
Oh, part two.
Don't let them take your faith away. You gotta move on. You gotta push forward. Don't let them lead you astray.
So bro. Man. I think we also need to talk about. Do you also self-sabotage? Do you think like black businesses sabotage it, or do you think?
I think. Okay, so I'm going to say that, right? I think we do self-sabotage. I think we self-sabotage because most of the time we don't think that we're deserving, right? Yeah. There's a part of us that still thinks that we are not worthy of success. We're not worthy of, we're not worthy of of black excellence.
Sure.
And so in that internal inferiority that we feel, we self-sabotage,
Sure.
by not being firm with our prices, for example.
Sure. Do you think we are in because you were saying that as black people, do you think in reference to what, to other races, or the system in terms of what it defines, or the standard that
I'm
is
just
set,
saying us
internally?
Yeah,
because I
us.
feel like we then are competing. If we're feeling we're not good enough, what is the standard of being good enough?
I think we should, again, it's on an individual thingy basis, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. Again, we're talking about black excellence as in what has Ngobi done, or what is Ngobi doing to reach that level of black excellence, and what can he say? It's okay, now I've reached this level, or he can now point to for example, Generation Great. How do we know that we're now black excellence? We have 1 million viewers, we have empowered, so I think again we should have defined milestones and defined goals that can now give us a direction with how far along are we on that, on that ladder that we're climbing.
So set our own personal goals in terms of what Generation Great aims to do.
Exactly.
And when we reach that goal, we then can say,
how further can we go?
Or
have we reached this?
Yeah.
Exactly. So then again, when we do find ourselves in those situations, let's not self-sabotage and just be mediocre. Because I think what a lot of black people, and this frustrates me, right? Yeah. Once you've reached a certain level, it's okay. Again, in as much as I was saying that I don't want to come across as contradictory, right?
Sure.
But in as much as when you've now become successful and you've reached that level of black excellence, find other black people who are successful also, right? Or find other lawyers find other accountants who are black.
Yeah.
Like surround yourself with black excellence in each and every way, right?
Sure.
Because don't now go outside of your race. And also the biggest thing that we do to self-sabotage is just to flex on other people.
And not just to empower.
Not just to
empower. I'm actually going to go there to say a lot of the time we don't go back to the same communities to say what are other opportunities that we see, or what can we do to empower other individuals. And I've seen it with a lot of people where as I was saying, I think a lot of the times we also don't go back to say what can we do to empower other people who are in the same journey as we are, or who want to do the same things that we do, right? And I know it's like a collective relationship where someone has to ask you for help and whatnot, but we don't invest a lot in the black community. I mean, like I said, we're talking about the guy with drip. What's his name? Likao. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't really say it's like because people were not supporting him, but I feel if Ikasi Nabanta Bangaga, and Ikasi is like the biggest
customer base.
Yeah, that's true. And if a lot of people could support a product or could support services, you'd literally be an instant billionaire. You see,
it's true.
So that's why I always say that it's an innate low self-esteem issue where we don't really believe that we are worthy of these things, and our products are superior. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But I also want to talk about our worth as well.
Our worth how?
In terms of are we okay, I want to put it in a very politically correct manner. do we value the services and the goods that we offer to people? Because I feel like at times
I think we undervalue them.
I
think we undervalue them. Based again on we undervalue them just for us to kind of accommodate Leon Toleoguti, just because maybe we're black people or maybe we're from Ekasi. The only way people can afford our services or product is by us putting a certain price point that does not overcharge, because we want to accommodate these people we want customers and we want them to buy, etc. You know, so yeah, I think we undervalue and we don't know the worth of ourselves, of our businesses, and of our services and products, you know, etc. Yeah, that's what I think.
But it's do we also take the time? Because I feel like we also need to take time to learn what goes into the business and what the overall costing should be. Because I feel like it's stuff that we overlook in terms of like, if maybe you have like an online shop, how much it costs to have that, and how much it costs to have you to do your services and also make enough profit.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Which obviously is a good, you need to find a good business model in terms of, you also shouldn't undervalue your products or services, but also you can't overcharge, right? But also you need to find balance in terms of your customers and the rapport that you build with your customers and know how to charge, so that you don't lose profit or you don't gain a lot of profit unnecessarily. Well, not unnecessarily, but you also
but the goal of business is to make as much profit as possible. I think the only time that you can truly, so again, I think we'll go back to competence. I think when you are competent enough, when you have established yourself as a certain brand, as a certain service, then you can charge exorbitant prices, because now you're competent. So now, since you're competent, you can charge based on value that you give. Again, I'm competent, therefore this is what you should expect, and therefore this is the value that I provide to you. So now you cannot say, no, like we can't just get from out of the gates in Jewena, so charges keep and 6 clip. It doesn't make sense. Think you should just build your brand first. People have to know, like, and trust you. You have to build it over time. And also there's another thing that we don't understand is that everything requires like a certain amount of time before it gains a certain value, right? I think even with Black excellence, there's a time that goes into that, into building yourself, you know, into the self-improvement, into the business, into everything that you do before you can say, you know what, yes, I've reached now the epitome of Black excellence. So I think that's also the things that we have to look at. That's why we complain also with you just started this business like 3 years ago.
But
build a brand.
But what if
I understand,
know the value of what service or good that I'm providing? Because I think also it gets to a point where why do I really need to convince? Okay, it sounds bad when I say it. But why do I need to convince you that this is worth your time, or this is worth this much? Because again, I don't think a lot of the times we also take into account the value that other brands provide that are in the mainstream commercial market.
Again, these brands also did not charge as much at first. First, they've over time. That's why certain brands now they can charge so much, because they've been there for so many years.
So it's a reputation thing.
It's also building that reputation. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Over time, right? Over time, take your time. But also that doesn't mean good now undercharge, because also obviously when you start a business or whatever, you do undercharge because you you just want to build that customer base first, but
sure.
also give it time. Do not rush. Like, also the other thing, this thing of us and not, we have to be accountable. Most black businesses also lack good service delivery.
Yeah.
Like the customer experience.
Yeah, I
think we should also improve on that. Like, we should focus more on the overall customer experience. Look, what sets apart an average business and a great business is the overall customer experience, right?
And giving us the product is not good enough.
Yeah,
it's also how you do it that wins us over.
Yep.
And things such as late deliveries,
yes,
and also Istogasi,
those are the things that
really puts the business at risk of losing customers, because you may be selling a good product or offering good services, but how you do it and availability might sabotage the business. Also going there, because I like the customer experience as well. But then how then do you counter? Because a lot of the times people would say, yeah, but support. I have a problem with that term. No, but we're supporting your business. Should it be like that? Can you say I'm supporting your business? As if like, because supporting your business kind of feels like and we feel like it's a support, or I don't know. I just go for the services. If you feel like I'm giving you a great product, do it. If you feel like as a musician I'm doing a great job, and stuff like that, don't say we're supporting local brands. Because it makes us feel, local brands feel like they are a burden to you.
I get you.
Support, as if like we don't care about the quality of your product. Just support it so that you do well.
Okay, I get you. So basically, they I don't want to say downplaying your service or product, or downgrading it. I know. The product is actually good. Just support that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Or is it a terminology thing? Maybe it's a terminology thing we don't know how to.
But right now, because we also do that, well, with hang support. So you are now obligated, since in supporter, now you are obligated to do things cheaper for me,
Sure.
Or you're now obligated for free because me nang supporter wena. Type of thing.
Sure.
No, that's a very bad mentality that we have.
Yeah.
I think we should change that. Go there because you're genuinely interested in buying the product. You're genuinely interested in in purchasing the service or the product, or it's very. I've never thought about that. That's a good point. That's a danger. That's a very bad mentality to have.
And that's why maybe I feel like maybe it's the terminology. Maybe we want to put it in and say that I like your services and I want to continue buying. I want you to be the preferred.
No, but also I think you also
provider.
But also, it's a good point that you're making. The mindset behind saying support. That's the problem.
Because it doesn't come from a place of I believe in the product and I believe in the quality. It comes across as, regardless of whether the product is good or bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you my money.
Yeah.
And then that's where now the obligation of because now you also lose your confidence in terms of maybe the services that I'm offering aren't good enough, and people are just doing this because I'm a black person who has started a business. And that's why it conflicts with it plays with your self-esteem and confidence, because you're also like, I can't be charging this much for this product, even though you know that the value that you put in and the worth is higher than is higher than the amount that you're charging. And also that's why even with negotiating nabantu ukuthi why are 10 rand? You don't do that in other entities. I'm not going to buy avocados because they're like 80 rand a packet, right? And that's why it's also the transformation or transforming your mind to think, look, these businesses can handle not having customers, can handle you not buying that 80 rand bag of avocados. But Mama Loasa Conan cannot handle you a charge 20 rand for the same bag of avocados, right? So I feel like there's also that responsibility on us as black people to say, we'll give the same value, we'll give black people a chance to also provide those services. And if it doesn't work out, then it's good. I'll go to another black person and stuff like that.
Okay.
Not to just assume that black people are incompetent to provide you the same quality in terms of goods and services. Because that's where we are now. Uzokwazi abantu bathi mina ngeke ngiye nje kule Shoprite yala but rather go kule Shoprite le Glen Vista. I'm just like,
yeah,
okay. But also, even with these big entities, they don't allow, they don't offer the same products as these other
that's true.
Places as affluent, right? Which I get. But if it's our own black businesses, guys, we need to take it upon ourselves to say, okay, I don't have to complain about 10 rand for.
Yeah, I don't.
It's nuanced, man.
Yeah,
I can't say.
I don't think we should complain, but if you're not happy, I think you should call them out in private.
Sure.
I think it's
Let's
important.
not be too harsh.
Yeah, don't bash them in public.
Because also there's packaging there.
There's packaging,
there's storage.
There's so many things.
There's so many
there's
factors
logistics.
that the product to be that expensive, right? And with these people, they don't have the marketing for it. They don't have the packaging. They don't have the storage. They get the product as is by bag lapo and then these are and it's not branded. It's not, So it's, I don't know. It's a very difficult topic to discuss, and I wish we had these informal business people to come in and explain how they feel about
lately we have a lot of tattoos that we are supposed to do.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So is black excellence limited to just owning a business only?
No, it's not. I believe it's there's so much that we can point and say that is black excellence. There's so many people who are doing amazing things in sports. In the sports industry, in the fitness industry, in the creative industry. There's quite a lot of black people who are creative. Private sectors as well. I mean, there's a lot of professionals, doctors, specialists and stuff like that, lawyers who are doing amazing things. And the only time they can be at a point where they can compete in the market, because obviously whether we still want to compete in the market or not, it still puts food on a place, right? So we need to also have a responsibility to say, if a black service provider has given you like umsebenzi grand, it is your responsibility to blow the horn and shout and say, hey, Banbani, give me these services. I highly recommend them, because that does a lot more good than marketing. Yeah, that's good. Someone says to you, I trust and I can vouch that this person gave me solid services or products, then it puts them in a place where their products are trustworthy and the public can say, okay,
ratings, good ratings,
ratings. Also go to their pages, like and subscribe and do all these other things. Because look, another thing is, in as much as we try to avoid it and run away from the thing, following really determines growth.
And people also
know about you,
and people also think
they'll buy from you.
Yeah, and also people think that supporting you is just them popping out money for you. Follow, like, sometimes the only thing that a black business needs, or a black professional or specialist needs is a share on Facebook. That's all. You don't. It's free.
And another thing also, what you said, also allow people to offer the services that you need, because it needs to be tailor-made for you.
Yeah.
If I'm providing you provide a service for you, I need to know what is it that you like and how you like it. And I'm not saying be harsh and go on social media and complain, but I'm saying be also mindful of the fact that I may not know your needs. So I need you to say, these are how my needs would be met. And I like I like your services. I really appreciate it if you do it like this. And then recommend people and tell me.
Yeah, referrals
and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I've seen it in other industries where like white people would recommend other white people for
that's how they make money. That's how they make money. There's also a referral system that they refer each other, you know. But
even with networking, I don't think we do
enough of that.
Enough of that. And we don't go in these spaces where there are people that can talk. Maybe we don't have a pool of people we can network with who are like us, who can understand what we need. Because obviously we've seen that certain industry close us out. You don't find big businesses recommending services to black hiring or outsourcing services from black individuals. It's always the same white-owned entities that are recommended. So maybe we need the people who are in bigger spaces to start recommending black businesses as their preferred service providers. Maybe that could change the chain, and that's how we start to have a system that has these black people as a collective that we can pick and choose and say, Ngobi is offering a clothing line. I don't have to go Ackermans and request the same quotation. I know Ngobi is offering the same line, and I can give them the same value. Budget Ackermans, right? I think it's like that. I think we need to be aggressive in terms of our approach, in terms of making sure that there's a pool of people that we can network around and share the resources that we have.
Yeah, so again, I think that's part of self-sabotage, because when you don't share with people who don't have at your peak, even when your bottom comes, those people won't assist you anymore because you didn't assist them at your high, you know. So why do you want now me to assist you at your lows when at your highs you didn't pull me up, right?
Exactly.
I think that's the other self-sabotage that we do as black people. And I think I'm so tired of the crabs in a bucket mentality. I don't think we're like that, but unfortunately these behaviors are so prevalent. We see them all the time, you know.
But crabs are not meant to be in
the bucket. I get that.
It's an environment thing.
It's
which we could link it to other things, and we'll talk about it the whole day.
It's true. But again, I hate that mentality. But what do you say when people display that type of mentality, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to also now think about it in a different way, right? And say, okay, in as much we are not in this conducive environment for us, but how do we not now pull each other down, right? How do we lift each other out of that bucket to go to the ocean, rather, you know? So I think that's how we should start thinking, right? And then also, I think we have to talk about our responsibility to invest in, but I think we've touched on it.
One thing I really would like to highlight, just maybe as a remark, is I also feel like we don't, in as much as we are so caught up in being consumers.
Yeah, that's true.
Apparently the rand takes about a thing to rotate in the black community. They said something about a day. Is it a day or 3 days?
A day.
So for it to go out and buy something, it lasts like a couple of hours. But I know it's a day or two.
It's a day. I think it's a day.
And then in the Jewish and Indian community, it lasts longer.
Yeah.
So I feel like and I'll continue to say, Ikasi has the highest rate yabantu abathengayo, but we don't buy from our own people, which means the money we're taking it out instead of bringing it in within the community, so it rotates here. So I think also we need to start thinking along those lines in terms of maybe that's when we'll value the services, to say, if I can't find it here, I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't have to put in keeping my izinto elsewhere if I can't find them locally. Like, that shows what you trust the people within your community enough what you can invest in there.
So I think we are okay. I try, in my reasoning and in my sort of delivery, I try as much as possible to run away from being a victim, right? I want us to empower ourselves first, right? So I'm saying this to say, Uguti, we need to now be conscious. I think the problem with us again is we're not conscious about where we spend our money, right?
Sure.
That's the biggest thing. You just spend because you want to spend. We don't think about, we don't think how far or how spending, how ukuthenga riavaya kuma oledi wasekasi will go, how far will it go compared to buying a riavaya to uma oledi wasekasi, but from another country, Not that I'm being xenophobic or anything, but we should think about those things. Okay, if there are two riavaya amagwenyo ramakota whatever, right? If ngizothenga ngifuna ukubaya ama-chips or ikota la or amagwenya lana, where is this money going?
Sure.
Nah, if ngiyothenga ekuleni instead of buying from umjida wasekasi, like, where is this money going? Like, we're not KFC. Conscious, or KFC, right? If ngiyothenga ibhega instead of buying ikota from umfunde kasi, shout out to
LI Foods.
LI Foods.
I feel like
we're not like consciously. I think we also don't consciously spend our money.
We're not just intentional about
exactly
why
it's
we're spending and why the money is going.
100%.
Again, it's the same thing I'm saying. Those big entities can handle losing their money. They already have enough. And the fact that they're even asking for 2 rents from us is ridiculous.
Why are you throwing shade at KFC?
I'm definitely throwing shade at KFC. But I'm saying the businesses that we buy from as a Sekasi, they don't have that luxury. If they lose you as a customer, they lose you. They don't have other 10,000 people a day lining
But also, let's also talk about how the very same businesses that we support, when we have supported them, but I
don't care about that. That's
but
the thing.
It happens.
But that's the thing again. I also can't control what you do with your business. I'd rather have a successful black business.
Yeah.
At the same time, I told me my figure lap than have a same business that does not care about me.
That's good.
Or that I cannot look
fair.
up to.
That's
For
fair.
instance, I'd rather go buy Ipatu and see you look as a Ipatu, a driver, a Ferrari, than not have anyone with the same skin color be in that position, because Ngiyazi Ipatu can empower me at a later stage. I'm not
but
sure.
But mind you, the problem is again, the problem is Magathenga Leo Ferrari and whatnot. It's okay. Who are his accountants? Who are his lawyers and whatnot? Like, you see. So again,
but why must I police? And that's also another thing. Again,
we're not policing. Let's just at least be intentional about where we.
Yeah.
If Theo Baloyi is going to drive a Ferrari, at least he must. I know for a fact. This is also again hypothetical. I know for a fact he is investing in the community and whatnot. But he must also have a black lawyer, a black doctor, etc. So that way the money stays longer in the black community.
So
because it defeats the purpose. About that
responsibility
exactly.
There's a responsibility for you to also take black people up as much as you go. And not
because it defeats the purpose. He does have a Ferrari and whatnot, but Imali again is still ending up in the Jews' hands and white people and the poor Afrikaners' hands.
Sure.
It defeats
Yeah,
that.
no, it makes sense. I think we digressed a bit and went, but do you have any closing remarks in terms of black excellence, black success, and all things black? What is your closing remark?
I think 30 years in, I think we have achieved a lot as black people.
Sure.
I think black excellence has we have truly displayed that we're capable of being excellent black people in everything that we do, in every endeavor that we pursue. Now it's just a matter of being more intentional and being more strategic, right? And systematic, and have systems and processes and infrastructure. That's the only thing I think we're missing, and we can't do that individually. Yes, it's good to be a black excellent person who's achieved a lot, but you can't, it takes a village to raise a child, I think we need each other, and I think if we could just galvanize and come together, we have numbers. There's 80% of South Africa's population as black people. Why aren't we just saying black excellence because you're the first black person? No, it should be normal at this point. There shouldn't be any first blacks to do something, at this point, I think that's what I want to say.
Okay, from my side, I think we need to also be less harsh when we want black entities to provide services to us. I think, yes, I do the necessary checks and due diligence, right? That is necessary for you to hire black people and their businesses. So my closing remarks are, yes, we need to do the necessary checks and due diligence in terms of getting black service providers, but we need to also stop expecting black businesses to go outside of their way and outside of their reach to convince us that their products are good enough or they're worthy for us to buy, right? Because that also creates the internal prejudice from them to say, maybe I need to also lower my price because people don't believe in me. We need to also believe more in black businesses as well. Should I start again? So we need to also be mindful of the fact that we are creating a structure for black individuals. We're creating a legacy for future generations to come and benefit in those. I mean, other businesses, they already have enough support. We already support them enough. But I feel like with black businesses, we need to also be intentional about making sure that we market them as and we scream as loud as we can in terms of the good work that they've done, and recommend each other. Build a network of black people where black people can say the system that we're trying to create will benefit us as black people, because we've seen that the system that we are under now does not allow us to penetrate through. So let's sort of create our own system and make sure that the black community benefits. So that's all. We'll definitely go out
street interviews
and do street interviews just to get an idea of where you guys are in terms of black success and black excellence and what it means for you. Stay tuned.
You gotta move on, you gotta push forward. Don't let them lead you astray. People come and people go. You will eat, and that's for sure.
Sawubona
Futhi kunjani?
Ngiyaphila mfethu. Mina ngiyakwazi abantu abakwazi uzintroduce.
Alright, ngiyabonga futhi. Ngi-childhood friend yakho, igama Mfundo Kasa. Njengoba uthi kudala ungazi vele. Right now ngi-represent LI Foods and Events. I'm the founder and director. i-business iqale 2018. So it started through an event ngokuthengisa nje kuphela, and then it happened ukuthi masithengisa kanjalo abantu baba ne-interest, and mababa ne-interest we ended up opening up a store, but saqala ngokwenzani, saqala ngokurenta out. So we came through ama-challenges amaningi over in the past, but nje ngicela ukuyibishiya nje lapho nje.
Sure. Ushilo ukuthi i-business lakho nisiyabona futhi ukuthi it's delicious food. Ngasitshela nje kabanzi ukuthi what do you do on a very brief note ukuthi what kind of foods do you offer and what is it that you do?
Okay. Nice question. LI Food specializes in delivering fresh quality food to your doorstep.
Sure.
Njengoba ngishilo ukuthi it started through an event, and that's where it started. So manje sesikhulile sesenza ne-speed price services.
Sure.
We are on Uber Eats right now, whereby you can order online via Uber Eats. It's fast, convenient. We are a proud member, a South African membership.
Sure.
So we also support the localization, and we also support buying locally. It empowers black people in a costly to food. So yeah,
I like that you touched on supporting black people, because the topic here too was about that. Actually, it was about black excellence and pushing the black businesses. So what would you consider black excellence according to when in a business yakho?
Oh, nice. So black excellence, it's all about unikhumbuleni ukuthi njengoba sesibangaka siphuma kumakhaya sometimes ahlukumezekile, akunasinto akusebenza ugogo ngikholwa ipenshini izinto ezinjalo. So for me, black excellence, it's all about empowering one another, uplifting one another, and make sure ukuthi we generationally we build our own generational wealth as black people. And if ngiyakwazi ukuthi ngisupport umuntu imali rotate kithi futhi, that's where we see growth, that's where we see empowerment amongst one another, instead ukuthi sibe nomona. So black excellence for me basically it's all about that. Mangathi ngiyabhekisisa generational wealth and generating inyuku amongst black people, abanama businesses, supportana, izinto ezinjalo.
Yo, mfethu uyabona nje uqede wonke ama-question ebesizokubuza wona, because I was also going to touch on vele black wealth and how money circulates around the black community. So I think you've just answered me fully. Abantu bangakuthola kuphi if they want to speak to you and reach out to you with social media? Do you have any platforms that you are on that we can actually contact or reach out to?
Oh yeah, thank you. So you can find us firstly Google. It's ELI Foods and Events. Uzobona lapha my number, but let me give you my numbers. It's 073 428 2317. I'll repeat the numbers: 073 428 2317. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. It's ELI Foods and Events ku Facebook. Instagram is ELI Foods and _ events, and then go TikTok it's Eli Foods and Events. Yeah, noma yenza one way izokuvezela khona lapho. So that's where you can get in touch nathi. Nakulontuza nakuba easy if you'd like to order. Type in LI Foods and Events, then you'll see ukuthi sikhona say exist as well.
Sure. Fit. Ngiyabonga kakhulu mfethu isikhathi sakho. Sabona sasunjani?
Ngiyaphila unjani?
Ngiyaphila. Sicela uzintroduce.
Umandisa wakashabalala. I'm 26, based in Soweto.
Bengicela ukuthi u-introduce i-business lakho. Ngiyabona la kuhle setup kumnandi. Just tell us a bit more about your business and what is it that you do.
Okay, so my business is a beauty studio. It's called Melanin Looks. We specialize in all things beauty. So we do your installations, we do your wig, ventilation, we do nails, we do makeup, all things beauty. Yeah. So I also do braidings, we do braids and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's nice. Ngiyabona nje mfethu setup kumnandi. Mawufika la guys, ufika vele na uthola ubona ukuthi kuyasetshenzwa. So besikhuluma nge-topic la ye-black excellence, and we're just going around the community sibona ukuthi mapha ama-business who are doing well, and I've been here before, and ngiyabona ukuthi you're someone who works really hard business in lakho. What would you say black excellence is for you and your business?
Well, for me, black excellence is, us Black people coming together, creating employment and, motivation to the youth. And, it's venturing into different things and more like entrepreneurship.
Sure.
So for me, in terms of my business, it's more into like creating employment for the youth. Hence, we've got different ventures. We're not stuck into doing one thing like Amazipopel. We also do like your makeup. So that it's gonna, create employment. Yes, it's gonna expand. Yes,
sure that there are people that are under you who are going to obviously carry on and do other tasks of the business.
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind you starting this business?
Definitely unemployment. I love beauty, number one. Sure. So I'm more into like abantu feeling confident and happy about who they are.
Sure.
So I want to also add on whatever confidence you might have.
Sure.
If you're lacking maybe in terms of your physique or facially, I try to improve a certain part of your body that you're going to be happy about, right?
Sure.
So it's all about that. And then, And unemployment.
Yes. Very important.
And unemployment.
Unemployment. So ungangithi nje nami nje mangafika cause okay. So bantu bangakuthola kuphi? Can you maybe give us do you have a website? Are you on social media? And where can people follow you and follow your work, and where can they book appointments on?
All right. So our appointments are booked via WhatsApp. Sure. And then we are available also on Instagram, which is Melanin Looks.
Sure.
And then also on Facebook, a page called Melanin Looks as well. Also on TikTok, which is Melanin Looks. We don't have a website, but we're growing. Going there, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for taking the time ukuthi ukhulume uxoxe kabanzi nathi. Siyazi ukuthi busuvalile safika sakuvulisa. And we wish you well on your business, and it's definitely going to take off. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Sharp.
Thank you. Right now, since it started to reach 370 hamburgers in Nelson Mandela Day at Luyolo Primary School, we also decided we need to give back to the community at large. Meaning, we would like to host an event. It's happening on the 7th. It's an invite on Kumuntu, where it's an international quota day. So it's going to be a day whereby chef-entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs abafuna ukuqala businesses wabo showcase their skills, showcase their talent. We're giving them an opportunity to advertise to a larger market at large. So you can also get empowered through an event as I did before. Sbonzaman 7th September 2024, MDN Sports Ground. That's where the event will be happening. All details will come through as well as in the poster to invite people. Tickets will be sold. Everything will be available. I'm jumping castle. Kids will be there. We enjoy. The family are going to enjoy.
When the world is pulling you down, everyone keeps messing your crown. Joy comes in the morning. Peace and happiness is calling.